change directions, you're losing maybe 50 to 100 degrees. So you want to do is get your maximum efficiency and use the entire bow. Nice easy strokes and smooth all the way. Getting some smoke again already there.
Can you use any type of wood for the...
No. For the what? The bow?
Those different pieces. Well,
no, we're going to talk about that in just a second. So that's how they work together. These grind together, the dust comes out. Eventually that dust gets to what's called its flash point. It ignites and starts smoking and then glowing. That's where you start from. The pieces that you work with, a rock has a divot in it, and we'll show you how to make those in there. And it's about the size of my palm. Something that fits comfortably in the palm is good. The hole in that, rather than keeping it out here where you don't have much control and stability, I have it back in my palm where I have a lot of control and stability and can put a lot of pressure on. The spindle is somewhere between index finger and pinky thick. There's nothing rocket science about that, but somewhere between those, and as perfectly round as you can get it. If it's not round, it's going to wobble, and again, you're going to lose energy in that process. To start with, the length of the spindle is this long. It grinds away. So when I started with the spindle, it was that long, but you make some fires and it's going to grind away to this. So start with this. Pardon me?
You really ground away that much?
Not in this time, but I've used this. I've had multiple fires from the spindle. So yeah. So this.
You brought this in. Okay.
Yeah. So that's how long you start with. The hearth board. Here again, it starts about that same length. There. It's going to be about 2 fingers wide and about 1 finger thick. And you want to get those edges sharp. This should look pretty close to lumber from a lumber yard when you're done making this. And we'll talk about how to use your knives to make these later. So that's the dimensions. This long, 2 fingers wide, 1 finger thick. This long, index thick to pinky thick is what you're going for on the spindle, and perfectly round. The bow is a good piece of willow, one of these river trees that we'll show you. The length of the bow is about armpit to fingertip is the longest you want to go. I like mine a little bit shorter because then it doesn't stick out of my pack as much and catch on as many branches. The drawback to a shorter bow is that when you're doing, you have to go harder. The longer bow, the more efficient it is, the more revolutions that spindle you get per stroke of the bow. So I just prefer mine a little shorter. You could go to fingertip, but middle of the hand is probably a good spot. We'll talk about how to tie on and carve your ends at a later point. But what I'm also looking for in this is about thumb to index finger thick. It's not a flexible bow. There's not much flex in this at all. So I can bend it, but not much. I want just a very shallow bow in this. We're not looking for a big curve, just enough to keep that string off of the bow itself. That's all we're looking for in that. You could have on almost perfectly straight. I've made them like that. They work just fine. So that's how you want to go for the bow. Any questions on those key pieces?